Hi, welcome to the podcast Leadership for Tomorrow. I'm your host, Rajiv Sinha, and I have a special guest with us, Maya Britt. She's from Denmark. She has worked in fashion industry. She knows about fashion a lot, and then she has also worked with luxury music brand that is called Bang & Olufsen. And right now she's working with the NGO. She has been she has seen the whole process from very beginning. She understands how businesses impact nature, and let's hear more about nature and sustainability from her. So over to you, Maya. So can you give us a brief introduction about yourself and your views on sustainability?
Yes, I would love that. My name is Mai. I was born and raised in Denmark. For the past 20 years, I've been working professionally with partnerships, which means that I've had a global or at least international perspective on many things.
Yeah, Maya. So you have seen sustainability from a developed country, and you've also seen things or manufacturing being outsourced to developing countries or countries which are still in the path towards sustainability or towards growth. So what are your views from when you see it from a developed country to the countries where manufacturings are happening?
So what we see now is a paradigm shift in the way you run operations in the broader perspective. What we see now is a change, because I think it's very obvious to people that a change needs to happen. I mean, we cannot run Mother Earth as we have done.
Right.
We need to see much more respect in a lot of different angles. It's both on environmental part, it's on the social part, and it's also on the governance part, how you run a business.
So why do you think businesses should adopt sustainability? It's people generally feel it's a cost and they feel somebody will do. Why should a brand actually start this journey, or they should run their operational more responsibly?
So first of all, I mean, we have all been a part of taking the earth to where it is now. So I believe that we all have an individual responsibility. Everybody has that. So it goes on an individual, personal level. It goes to the businesses. It goes to governments. It's like a 360-degree responsibility awareness that we're facing now. But when we talk about the corporate environment, they are now in Europe facing a huge wave of new sustainability legislation that they will have to comply with. It has already started. Taxonomy was introduced in 22. This year in 24, European companies will have to do their sustainability reporting under the CSRD, Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, which is now being implemented nationally by all countries within the EU. Final implementation is by July by all the member states.
That's a very interesting point that you brought about compliances. So most of the companies, they feel, especially the developing countries, they feel that business is being run as it is, unless there is a compliance or government norm or the customer asks for any kind of, regulations or some kind of reporting. They feel this is some additional thing somebody will do. Nobody wants to actually start this. And what they feel is, when we are running a business and we are doing our own bit, why should we add additional layer of this sustainability? And if it is for Europe, why we should get involved with this? And there is a cost. So what do you think? Why companies are talking like this? Why can't they feel the difference that sustainability also means saving in energy, running business more efficiently, more social benefit for their employees? So why do they shy away from this? What are your views on this?
I think they shy away because they have not known where to start. I mean, now there's a reporting framework that everybody can look into. This framework under the CSRD, it has more than 1,100 data points. So everybody will know, all the businesses will know from now on precisely what to report on.
Right.
They will do their materiality assessment, which will tell them where they have a material impact within the 3 parameters, environmental, social, and governance. So all the companies in Denmark, they are now doing their assessment and trying to figure out where they have a substantial impact, and that's where they're going to report. So this clarifies for each individual enterprise what to focus on. I mean, everybody doesn't have to report on everything.
Right.
Right? You just have to focus on where you create an impact, negative or positive.
Right.
I mean, this whole sustainability frameworks, the main purpose is to create transferability and comparability between the corporations.
Right.
And in this way, investments from like big capital funds and so on are leaded into a more sustainable direction.
Right.
And that's like the whole purpose of the EU Green Deal.
Right.
To kind of push for this transformation that is so much needed.
So I think what I understand in the last 70s or 80s, sustainability was not very well known by people. Then people saw degradation of Mother Earth, and then they started looking into this. United Nations saw that social upliftment is important, so they started putting in their own parameters of social and governance things. And then came a layer on top, that is environment. So for a business, as you said, there were 3 pillars. Profitability or economics is one, and then people are the second pillar, and the third one is environmental and governance part. So whenever we talk about this, it's always profit first, followed by people, followed by environment. Whereas of late, last 10 or 15 years, it has been the reverse. It's more about environment, people, and then profitability. That is what is happening. So that's why so many frameworks, as you said, CSRD, there is TCFD, there is CBAM, and there are other GRI reporting, there are United Nations reporting, there is California law. So there are so many of these coming. And Europe has become very, very stringent about this. They understand that world and time, everything is limited. So what do you see change in Denmark as such? Have you seen any impact in last 5 or 10 years? Physically, can you see temperature change or environmental change happening in front of your eyes? Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see that. We can see that the weather is changing. We have floods even in Denmark. We have unusual weather during the summers. So we can see it, but I would say it's still on a small scale compared to the global south.
Right.
And I think everybody is becoming aware that the global north, who has been producing and consuming endlessly for the last 50, 100 years, this is now affecting, people and nature outside of our own environment.
Right.
It has huge consequences to the global south. And EU is now leading the talk about a climate foundation. I mean, who should support climate adaptation in the global south?
Right.
Should it not be the ones who had led, the world or the climate into this transformation? Of course it should.
It should, yeah.
Another thing I just wanted to say is that I don't see the shift from or the focus shifting from financial towards ESG only. What I see now is that those 2 pillars will be balancing.
Right.
Because now we have seen for many years, since OECD introduced the CSR reporting guidelines for the multinational companies.
Yeah.
I think it was a little more than 50 countries adhering to these requirements. We have seen CSR reports for the past 10, 12 years, but the quality has been,
It has improved now, so
it's improved now.
yeah, more
And,
transparency, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah, and it has been so that previously a company could report on what made them shine. I mean, it was not.
let's call it greenwashing,
We can
and
call it greenwashing. We have seen in some CSR reports in the past that companies tend to make small investments or small donations or small changes. I mean,
they would like to make it very big, you know. So,
exactly.
yeah.
So that will be eliminated with the new CSRD reporting directive.
How important is sustainability for brands? Is it, again, as we said, is it more of greenwashing, it's more of marketing, or they actually mean to improve life of people or the workers and also to their customers, bringing more economical, viable products? How important it is for the brands?
I think it's extremely important. I think there are two angles to this. First of all, I believe that companies, they are willing, they are eager to make their part of creating a better world. I will put my money on the private enterprises because they can drive huge impact. They can really create a change. What the governments have not been able to do
Right.
for the past 20, 10, 30 years.
Right.
So now the private sector is kind of leading in this sustainability transformation journey. I think that's really good. So I think first of all, the companies, the private sector, they want to drive this change as much as others
Right.
do. But then there's also the business side of it. They will have to do efforts to attract funds and capital and investments to their businesses. So it's a huge advantage, a
Right.
business advantage for them to tap in on this journey.
So you have given
Absolutely.
2, 3 cues, Mai. One, you said you would, as a business or as a person, would like to put money to companies which are, or brands which are focused on, you know, environment and sustainability. The other thing you said that brands would like to work with partners who are more focused on, you know, growth and for the future. At the same time, do you think brands will reward their suppliers or value chain partners who are taking a leap forward? Or if you as a brand had a couple of suppliers, some of them are laggards, some of them have taken leadership position on, you know, environmental changes, social changes. What do you think as a brand? Which all things are very important?
I think that's a really, really important aspect of this because with the new CSRD framework, companies will not only have to report on their HQ in Europe, they will also have a broader geographical perspective. They will have to now, from now on, to report on their entire value chain.
Right. So for CSRD, that is an important thing that you said. It's not only their headquarters, it's also the value chain. And so it's important that each part of this, you know, pillar or each part of this value chain needs to follow or embrace this philosophy.
Yeah. So the companies will not only have to report on their business in Europe, but they also have to report on their entire value chain.
Right.
And that means, you know, if they have their own operations abroad, they will have to report on this if considering the materiality assessment, but they will also have to report on their suppliers. And that's why it's so important. If a Danish company has like substantial suppliers,
Right.
I mean in Asia or in South America, they will have to report on those operations as well. And I think that's where the partnership comes in and plays an important role. There has to be a close dialogue between the European enterprise and their collaborators or suppliers or their sales markets on the other side of the world.
Right.
So it's a very dynamic relationship.
So for manufacturers, it is important that they take care of the 5 pillars, that is water, chemical, their energy, their working, and then sustainability. So all of these including waste which is there. So byproduct of any kind of manufacturing are these products, Now they also understand that if they improve on this, it also gives them cost advantage. It gives them, bottom line improves on all these parameters. But at the same time, they also look at some support from brands so that they can also grow the business while they're investing in this part. Eventually, they are going to make money, but they need to know that yes, they are aligned with their brands, and especially when brands have declared their goals of neutrality as per CSRD, they have also declared that whatever value chain are there, everybody has to follow this. Then tracking of these value chain is also important. And if you follow this by a traditional method of Excel sheets or by mails and other communications, then your whole value chain it never is integrated. So what do you think about the solution? Is it going to be a digitized economy which is going to measure all of these, capture everything, or it is going to be the traditional Excel based methods which are there?
So within the new CSRD framework, all the data, it's basically a data sheet, right?
Right.
So everything will have to be tagged and digitalized. So in this way, it also asks for from the suppliers and from the collaborators
Right.
in the value chain to do their part on this.
Right.
And I think I believe that if you are a supplier to like a European corporation,
Right.
you will have to look into the ESG parameters because it will be requested by the HQ in Europe.
Right.
They have to put in these data in their new reporting
Framework.
reporting sustainability reports.
So I have been working with various manufacturers, various brands, and I see the biggest gap is when they do these reportings, even for CSRD or CBAM, what they do is they collect data which is already historical data. It's past. They don't report on future. They talk about things which happened last year. So if a company or a brand wants to decarbonize their system, and if they have historical data, there's no means of tracking. So what we see is digitized and accuracy as well as real-time data, or at least concurrency of data has to be updated. Otherwise, nobody is going to improve on this value chain. So what are your views that whether these suppliers and brands should adopt a system where it is transparent, accountable, and data is correct? It is of the current period. It should not be last year or last to last year.
It's absolutely crucial that the partners or suppliers are able to provide this detailed sustainability data
Right.
to the mother company.
Right.
It's absolutely crucial for them to even be in business in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years from now.
Right. So it's very important. So what is your message to manufacturers from India or Asia? What should they do to move towards future? Since this whole topic is about how to survive and lead into future. So what are your views or suggestions or recommendation to these players?
Yeah, so they should have like a platform. They should have a professional data platform in place in
Right.
order to be able to deliver the requested sustainability data
Right.
to the company they work with. It's absolutely crucial that they get a hold of the data system, the data management system. And they do have to report on these 5 pillars that you mentioned before,
Right.
from the environmental angle.
Right. So, Ma, it was a pleasure talking to you, and it's great to know your views, and especially talking from a point where you have seen changes happening from brands to manufacturing, and then how this whole value chain works. So, if you feel like we should also have another session, so we'll listen to our viewers, and if they ask, then maybe we can have another session where we deep dive into each of these topics and what does CSRD means, what are their views from European standards, and what should Indian companies or Asian companies should focus on to make sure they stay relevant, they stay updated, and they build their business for future.
I think we should do that. Absolutely. I think this is the way to take it forward. I mean, closer relations, closer partnerships, bringing the world together in this sustainability journey. That's absolutely essential.
Thank you very much, Mai, and pleasure to have you here.
Likewise. Thank you.